Hey everyone, FlyingDutchy here. Welcome back to another guide video. I think it's number 5. And today we're going to talk about food and what food is and how you want to manage food. Some countries will have a very hard time having food in their markets because that is how it works. And for example, Sweden will not have a lot of problems with food. Why? Because we make a lot of things that produce food. But Dutchy, you're not making food. You're making, in the Stockholm market, you're making fish. So what are you talking about? Well, food is a thing on its own in this game. People don't eat this resource. Well, they somewhat do, because if you look at they have needs of fish. You see that over here. But that is not the need for food. That is something else. They just use it for upkeep. Every resource in a market that produces some kind of food, for example the fish gives 5 food per unit, will go to the market first. There is no local consumption of food. The people in Stockholm are not having or eating their own food. No, they eat it from the provincial stockpile. And a provincial stockpile is buying the food from the market, if they have to. And that is how it works. So let's just go into detail and follow the steps so that it is getting clear. In the game there are around 16 goods that produce food. The easiest to understand is fish for us because we have so much fish. And per trade good sold, you get 5 food. And that goes to the market. So let's take a look at my Stockholm market. This market. Let's click on it. And then you see over here that there is a market food. And there is a balance based on the production and the consumption in your provinces. So we have a huge bonus of food. And because my food stockpile most likely stays full the whole time, the food price is low. And this is the price you pay for food, if you need to buy it. So what can happen if you are playing as, for example, Holland? Holland is having a lot of towns compared to rural locations, which means you get more pops that produce more food. Burgers produce, they need to eat way more food than peasants, for example. And what can happen then if you're playing as Holland and you are having your own market, or you're in the Brugge market, for example, then the stockpile of your food goes down, the price increases, the maximum price I have seen is 0.15 per food, and then suddenly you're paying 60 ducats a month to buy food from the market, because the price is high. So as Sweden we don't have that problem. The food is very well done. We have a huge bonus, a huge surplus of food right now. Also, when it's winter, your food will go down. And especially if you're in Scandinavia. So it's very important that we have our fish still happening. But now what? Let's take a look at the provinces. So a province, for example, this is a province with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 locations, 7. The province is buying or selling the food to the market. If I click on one of the locations, I click this away. Let's click here. No, I have to go back to political and then click on Stockholm. See that we have a provincial food. At the moment, in the province of Uppland, we have a surplus of 29 food. And we are selling this food to the market. Because our stockpiles are full. We have 600 out of 600 food. So, the 30 food or 29.9 food is then just sold to the market for 0.01 per food. But if I go to a province where we need to buy food, then things will go different. So let's go and find maybe one. Let's click on economy. Production. And then click on food. Here we can see all our provinces with their surplus or penalty to food. It could be that Sweden has province without a food deficit, by the way. Then I will just quickly load up a different nation, because and I think that is the case. Everything is surplus except for this one. Apparently. Oh no, that's part of a state. So, oh, Westmanland is having a penalty. That's nice. So we go to Westmanland. This state over here is having -2. The province always wants to keep the stockpile full. All the time. So, we are losing 2.8 food a month right now. The food income is based on, of course, once again, which RGOs are there. So most likely in this province there is not a lot of locations that produce food. Lumber, iron, lumber, iron, copper, and iron. So this is a very industrialized state, which not having any food RGO. So they are not having their own food. So most likely, the further we go into the game, the more this location or this province needs to buy food from the market. They always buy it from the market. And, well, last month they bought 2.8. And they have to do that all the time. Every month they have to buy the food from the market because they don't have a surplus in their own province. And that is why it is risky playing as a country that has low food in the markets. Because the lower the food in the market, once again, if we would have 2,000 out of 11,700, the price of food will go up. And then that province has to buy the food for a very high price. And that is the food to doom cycle that can happen, for example, if you play as Holland. You need to keep an eye out for your food. As Holland, for example, in Leiden, you have the only food RGO in the South Holland province. You see, look at the Dutch. They need to buy 66 food last month from the market. Now, luckily, Brugge is having a lot of food. So the price is low. But if the Brugge market goes into winter, or there's a war and the armies eat the food from provinces, then the price goes up, and then it's going to be very expensive for this province to buy the 66 food. You can see that in the budget as well. If you go to the balance, you see that we now have a surplus of selling food. In this screen you see not only the selling food, but you also see how much we buy. And yes, indeed, only Westmanland is buying at the moment. And the rest is selling it. And that gives me a little bit of money, because the price of food is the lowest possible. So you don't eat fish as food or livestock. No, you eat food and you generate food by selling the RGO unit to the market. And then the province eats it from its local province total. And if it's above 0, you don't have to buy it from the market. If it's below 0, for example in the state we just were, this one, then they buy it from the market, because the game always wants to keep the province stockpile full. And that is how food works. You can, when you need to specialize food, you want to have food in a rural settlement, because there is a food productivity bonus for rural settlements, 10%. And when you have a rural settlement, you can build more RGOs. For example, in Holland, with the Leiden option, you want to have Leiden not to become a town, because you want to upgrade this fish to level 9. And you want to build buildings that give extra productivity, so that the food you generate from fish, so not fish itself, but the food that fish gives, you want to get a higher productivity. And you can build buildings later in the game that makes the productivity higher as well. Leiden is the feeder for the whole province. You also get a bit of food from subsistence mechanics. I don't know exactly how it works, but we have 70,000 peasants and they give a little bit of food as well. I don't think that is very clear. Or is it? Yes, it is actually. We have 17,000 people, which are the peasants, and they generate food on their own, but very inefficient. But at the moment it is a lot, so. But you want these peasants to work to become laborers so that they are making not more food. And you want to build food productivity buildings. Food productivity is also based on the location you're in. If you're in the wetlands, you get a penalty. Grasslands gives a bonus. Development gives a bonus, etc. So you need to keep your eye out for the food in your market. Do I have my food stockpile full? And if it's not, is it because of winter or something else? Because if this runs out, you're going into a doom cycle. Because if you have no food in your market and your provinces are having no surplus, they have to buy the food for the highest price, and then you go bankrupt. I hope food is a bit more clear how it works. Please let me know in the comment section. Like the video if you enjoyed this, and maybe you want to become a YouTube member. You can find the link soon in the end screen and below my video. And for now, thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.